Is our pass rush missing that one final veteran piece to truly compete this season? The current depth chart at edge rusher is leaving many of us feeling uneasy, and a familiar face from our recent history has suddenly emerged as a potential solution. With news surfacing about his status becoming available, speculation is swirling about a possible reunion that could bring immediate impact to our defensive front. Could this seasoned pro be the missing link we've been waiting for? Let's break down the reality of this situation. Smash that like button, subscribe for more daily updates, and let me know your thoughts below. The Minnesota Vikings are actively evaluating their roster needs for the 2026 season, and the most glaring vacancy is the requirement for a reliable veteran edge rusher. Currently, the team lacks experienced depth behind starters Andrew Van Ginkel and Dallas Turner, leaving the secondary rotation reliant on young, undrafted players like Bo Richter and Tyler Batty. This situation creates an immediate vulnerability that the organization must address to ensure stability throughout the demanding schedule. While the free agent market remains active with options including high-profile names such as Joey Bosa, Jadeveon Clowney, Hassan Reddick, Leonard Floyd, Kyle Van Noy, Von Miller, and Denico Autry, one specific player has emerged as a distinct point of interest due to his previous ties to the franchise. Za'Darius Smith, who earned a Pro Bowl selection while playing for the Vikings back in 2022, is now back in the conversation. Although Smith made headlines last October by announcing his retirement while a member of the Philadelphia Eagles, a recent transaction by the Eagles to release him from their reserve but retired list has signaled a potential shift in his career trajectory. This move indicates that Za'Darius Smith is actively considering a return to professional football for the 2026 season. Because of his established history with key figures in the organization, including head coach Kevin O'Connell and long-tenured teammates like Josh Metellus, Justin Jefferson, and Brian O'Neill, the internal familiarity with the player is exceptionally high. The front office and the coaching staff already possess a clear understanding of his professional character and on-field capabilities, which simplifies the evaluation process compared to acquiring an unknown veteran. As the Vikings look to solidify their pass rushing depth, the possibility of reuniting with a familiar face like Za'Darius Smith has become a central storyline for the team this year. Skol. The consideration of Za'Darius Smith as a legitimate option for the Vikings is supported by his recent performance metrics, which suggest that he still possesses the necessary ability to contribute at a high level despite his age. Turning 34 in September, he remains younger than several other available veteran free agents like Von Miller, Kyle Van Noy, and Denico Autry, while sharing the same birth date as Leonard Floyd. When analyzing his output from last season, the data shows that he maintained a high level of efficiency. In a limited sample size of 131 snaps with the Philadelphia Eagles, Za'Darius Smith earned a notable 77.7 PFF grade, while recording 10 pressures and 1.5 sacks. This productivity follows a productive campaign the year prior, where he split time between the Cleveland Browns and the Detroit Lions, finishing with a 71.7 grade, 67 pressures, and 9 sacks. These numbers demonstrate that Za'Darius Smith has not experienced a significant decline in his physical output or his ability to impact the passing game. For a defensive unit that demands versatility, his consistent performance remains a key factor. Beyond the raw statistics, the three-time Pro Bowler brings extensive experience from his 11 seasons across 6 different NFL organizations, providing him with a deep understanding of various defensive schemes. This background is particularly useful in the complex defensive system implemented by Brian Flores. Za'Darius Smith has proven throughout his career that he can be utilized in multiple roles, whether lining up on the edge or presenting a blitz look from the A-gap. Furthermore, his reliability as a solid run defender adds another layer of utility to his skill set. While he is no longer in the early stages of his career, his proven ability to generate pressure remains a valuable asset for any team currently hunting for immediate defensive reinforcement. Understanding why the need for a veteran edge rusher matters right now for the Minnesota Vikings requires a look at the current roster composition and the competitive landscape of the 2026 season. The team is positioned in a win-now cycle, meaning the lack of proven depth behind starters. Andrew Van Ginkel and Dallas Turner poses a direct threat to the defense's overall consistency. Relying on inexperienced players like Bo Richter and Tyler Batty for critical reps during a full season creates a level of uncertainty that the organization is looking to eliminate. Bringing in a player with the pedigree of Za'Darius Smith would immediately mitigate that risk. His impact would be felt primarily through his ability to stabilize the rotation and provide reliable production when the starters need to come off the field. By acquiring a veteran, the coaching staff would gain flexibility in their defensive packages, allowing Brian Flores to maximize the pass rush without fearing a significant drop-off in talent or execution. This matters because the defensive line is the engine of the entire scheme. When the edge rotation is thin, the pressure on the secondary increases, and the overall efficiency of the defensive front wanes. Za'Darius Smith offers the specific combination of familiarity, tactical adaptability, and professional experience that fits the current team requirements perfectly. The focus for the organization is to maintain their competitive edge, and adding a player who already understands the local environment and the high expectations of the program is a strategic move to ensure the defense remains a force throughout the year. The decision to pursue such a player is a calculated response to the reality of having a high-stakes season ahead, where veteran presence is often the difference in managing the physical and mental demands of a full 17-game schedule. If the Vikings decide to move forward with the pursuit of Za'Darius Smith, the process will naturally require a comprehensive due diligence phase concerning his health and his sudden departure from the game last season. Since he stepped away while under contract with the Philadelphia Eagles, any team interested in his services must understand his current physical condition and the exact motivations behind his previous decision to retire. The Eagles' decision to release him from the reserve retired list is merely the first step in his potential return, and it creates a path for him to explore other opportunities. For the Vikings, the familiarity they have with Za'Darius Smith serves as a double-edged sword. While they know his skill set and his potential fit in the locker room, they also know that his long-term availability is a question that needs to be answered through thorough evaluation. If the medical and personnel staffs are satisfied with the information they receive regarding his readiness to return, the impact he could provide is significant. The team is in a position where adding a proven contributor would bolster their depth chart without requiring a long-term investment or a complex schematic adjustment. His ability to line up in different spots within the Brian Flores system makes him a tailor-made candidate to provide immediate relief and productivity. The team will be weighing whether the veteran's experience outweighs the potential concerns related to his year away from the field. Because the Vikings are currently a team aiming for immediate results, the pressure to secure the defensive rotation is high. By focusing on a player like Za'Darius Smith, they are prioritizing the known quantity over the volatility of the open market, seeking a solution that can integrate quickly into the existing structure of the team and provide a boost during the critical stretches of the upcoming 2026 campaign. The path forward for the Minnesota Vikings in the 2026 season relies heavily on how they manage their roster depth at the defensive end position. With the team currently identifying a clear need for a veteran edge rusher, the situation involving Za'Darius Smith has become the focal point of their off-field activity. The fact that the Eagles have made him a free agent once again is a development that the Vikings are actively monitoring, as it directly addresses their specific roster deficiency. Every factor, from his past success in 2022 to his ability to play effectively in the modern NFL, makes this a logical discussion for the front office to hold. Za'Darius Smith, should he decide that he wants to return to the game, represents a unique bridge between his previous tenure in Minnesota and a potential second act in a purple uniform. The organization is tasked with deciding if the risk associated with his brief retirement is offset by the clear benefit of adding a player who has already proven he can produce in this exact setting. As the coaching staff looks to solidify their pass rushing rotation to support starters Andrew Van Ginkel and Dallas Turner, the value of having someone like Za'Darius Smith who can contribute immediately cannot be overstated. His career path, which includes 11 seasons across 6 different franchises, has equipped him with a resilience that the team could utilize as they navigate their 2026 goals. The focus remains on the specific evaluation of his health and his desire to compete at the highest level again. Should the pieces align, the reunion could serve as the final component in building a defensive front capable of maintaining intensity throughout the year. The entire process remains centered on his potential impact, his technical fit, and the shared history that makes this such a compelling potential move for the organization.